Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Respect and gratitude, gratitude to my learned teachers, gurus who have taught me the tenets of Hindu Sanatana Dharma. And namaskaram to the Almighty Sai. It is due to their teachings and guidance that I now have an opportunity to join you all to share some thoughts on this beautiful topic of love. The teachers of our Guru, is the remover of darkness and ignorance, is symbolized as darkness in our Hindu Dharma. The only way to bring light to our lives and even those around us is through knowledge and applying the knowledge to better our lives and better for the society with the love and with the caring and others and all. Hence, the divinity of knowledge and knowledge sharing is highly revered in a Hindu Dharma. In fact, knowledge is revered as God actually. The Jnanam and is God actually in the Hindu Dharma. So initially, it doesn't say it's like all the other religions, Hindu Dharma says, God is one, like Eko Vishnu Mahat Bhutam, as the only one form. It is Lord Vishnu or Lord Narayana or one God, and all these living creatures or any other living objectives or any material objects in this world are created by the God, and it is the small rupas of the God. That's why when we do namaskaram or do wish other person, we don't wish with their name, and we don't go with their status. We just say Saram. That means namaskaram to the Almighty, and namaskaram to the Almighty in you and in me and in all around. So that's the beauty of Hindu Dharma. The Vedas are sacred texts that are packed with spiritual and practical wisdom. The Vedas, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, and Atharvana Vedas are the foundation of all knowledge which we gather from the Hindu Dharma. They teach us about creation and the non-duality of creator or creation, and most importantly, they teach us about dharma. If you may have noticed that I don't wish to refer our faith as Hinduism or with this kind of words, because in my opinion Hinduism an incorrect terminology, because Hindu Dharma is a right terminology, and because it is not a religious practice which we do, it is our lifestyle. It is in our lifestyle to do dharma. It is our lifestyle to love others. It is our lifestyle to serve others. It is our lifestyle to help others. It is our lifestyle to do much more things from morning to. We don't need to practice all these things. We born with all these qualities, and because we born in a Hindu Dharma. So it is a Hindu Dharma, Sanatana Dharma, which simply means the righteousness way of living as according to the Vedic scripts. Just like these are, scientific order, biological order, physical order, etc. So many orders are there. We have a dharmic order also, or the order of righteousness. The Vedas prescribe the righteousness codes of conduct that is applicable to a king, queen, husband, wife, son, daughter, teacher, student, employee, employer, everyone. Doesn't have any borders. It is not something like it is meant for only one kind of people. Righteousness code of conduct have a world that lives in a dharmic order with and harmony and with love and with peace. That's more important. The Vedas are also prayers of Lok Kshema. Whenever we are praying in our house, it is not something like we are praying for only one person. If you like, if you take the only Purusha Sutta, while we are chanting, and it is not only benefiting the person who is chanting or who is doing the ritual or who is practicing that one, because we don't do that one for only one person. This is that whatever the chantings we do, that is for the peace, peaceness for the world and all the living beings, in fact, for all the creatures. It is also a prayer to the Panchabhutas also. We pray to the elements like such as fire, air, water, space, and earth. All these things, because we receive a lot for free from them. In the back we don't do anything. We just do. We just need to show our this thing. Love is not something like it is a practice. It is a respecting and it's caring others. It's not something like showing. It's not affection. And we pray to live in a harmony with the environment, which is a blessing and manifestation of God. Dharma. So since this dharma thought about ahimsa, not hurting anyone, non-violence, or to be calm with other persons and deal with the respect, and it teaches, dharma teaches all these things. Though ahimsa, which is non-violence, is our thoughts and words and action, we can lead a purposeful life that will help us love all beyond barriers and serve all who are but embodiments of the same life force. Through knowledge, compassion, giving, and ahimsa, we can build a Vasudhaika Kutumbam, one global family without no boundaries, only with love. There is no boundaries in this entire map. If you see the map, there is a lot of boundaries. In a Hindu dharma concept, it is a Vasudhaika Kutumbam. No boundaries, nothing. One world, one family with love. So through knowledge and through compassion, sharing this one with the love only, we can achieve this one, that Vasudhaika Kutumbam. Thanks for giving this great opportunity. Namaste, and we are equal sharing our experience and knowledge, and let us all grow together in the process. Thank you.
Now may I request Deepa, we have 2 minutes before we can start our discussion. Thank you.
So I'll see what I'll do in 2 minutes. Sairam, my name is Deepa, and I'll read what the person was supposed to represent had a message for us. So in a Christian religion, it's mostly the emphasis of love again, and it talks about everything where we all spoke right now. But the 3 message that the person wanted to convey was, yes, chapter 1 Corinthians, the Bible says, love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy, is not beautiful, is not arrogant, is not rude, is not self-seeking, is not irritable, and does not keep a record of wrongs. Love finds no joy in unrighteousness, but rejoices in truth. And the other message that he wanted to emphasize more on was John chapter 5, verses 9-17, which says, "This is my command, love one another as I have loved you." So speaking of this, yes, I was born in a Christian family, and I married somebody who practices Hindu, and then I integrated into the Hindu family. So I have 2 gods watching over me is what I see it as. So it was a lot of learning for me, because what my experience of over 20 years being in a Christian school, being in the church every Sunday, what I have been taught, when I was married and when I was introduced to the Hindu religion, because after marriage you discover a lot, it's just not what you listen to, right? So then I realized everything is the same. I mean, I do my morning prayers, there is morning prayer here. I do prayer before meal, after meal, before studies, after studies, because that is what I've been taught in my catechism class, the SSC that I grew up in church. So it was all similar. I think it was a different way of worshiping. So when people ask me, hey, how did you manage? I mean, was it difficult for you to be in the Hindu culture? And that's when it reflected me. I think it's all what I learned in the church, how the Father has been preaching, how the nuns in my convent school have been taught what love and faith and the true meaning of love is, accepting the person the way he or she is. And that's what me and my husband do. We've never had any conflicts when it comes to religion as a topic. Because it meant the same, the essence was the same. And when we had a child, when she questioned, when probably when she was in 4 or 5 years, like, Amma, am I a Christian or am I a Hindu? That's when the reality strike. Oh, how should I explain her now? So that's when we got SSC, where it talks about everything, where they teach her. There's nothing different. It's just a way of living, the way to reach God. And then we give a very good analogy, and I hope it makes sense for her. So we asked her, do you like chocolate? And yes, she loves chocolate like other kids. Does it matter whether it's a Hershey chocolate or is it a Cadbury? She's like, no, it doesn't matter. As long as it's chocolate, I'm happy. Like, that's what it is, religion. It doesn't matter whether I'm a Hindu or you're a Christian. As long as you know there's one God, you're fine. So that's it from my side.
So thank you all for enlightening us on a higher plane. I mean, this is really great. One of the young adults at an event asked a question which I'm going to pose to the panel here. So this was at the time where there was a violent incident in Orlando where a gentleman killed a lot of people. And the young kids were asking the question, are we supposed to love this person? Or should we? Or how do we love this person? So maybe a couple of minutes each, we have a chance to say, how should we love somebody who we really despise technically? Can I start with somebody?
To explain the situation, the right, holy text, we need to take the Bhagavad Gita, because it's a big battle, So in Bhagavad Gita, Paramacharya Krishna actually described about this, how, when Arjuna actually says, so those are all, my cousins, but he might be, he might be with the, not with the good thoughts and good behavior, but still, in this war, I'm going to kill him, how can I do that one? Then, it says, as a human beings, doing that particular act in that time, it may cause us a lot of things, it's not something like that. We should not actually, we are not in a place to actually judge about the other person. By hearing this, because of this, internet and this modern communication, immediately we are able to know about all the news, but we are not there, we don't know the situation. And we'll just, by hearing that one, we'll justify the person as a bad or good. Still, it is a bad act. We are not supposed to, encourage that one. And at the same time, dharma follows, that person. Now, whoever actually give a punishment or inquire about it one, they should do that one. As a, so a responsible persons in the society, if we know we are not supposed to, hate or love these kind of things, the only thing we need to do is how to love that person, how to change their minds, and by bringing that, that love and that this, by spreading this word, we might stop, others to act like this. We cannot stop that which is actually happened, but because of acting in a polite way and showing our respect and the love and try to change them, that will give the message, no, it is not good, and so we should not do this one, But there is if it is beyond our limits, there is some justice to do that. Bhagwan will give, good. I'll take care of that one, I think.
Sure, we'll say Dr. Shreja next. How should we love this person whom we despise? How, practically?
As we all believe that we need to love everybody because the creation is of one God who has created the whole world. And then we believe whatever happens in the world is also controlled by God. There are some hatreds comes from some reasons, and we still don't need to accept and try to help those people who are doing those acts. Our fifth Guru Arjan Dev Ji, is an example. There are so many examples in any religion. I have studied in as from childhood. I graduated from high school, from Christian school, where nuns were teaching us the same thing. Then, being from India, I'm from Rajasthan, where we studied all the time. We went to temples and we compared all that. So practically everywhere it is said the same thing. But our Guru Arjan Dev Ji, the fifth Guru, when he was martyrdom, he was ordered to be tortured by Emperor Jahangir, at that time the Emperor of India. And he was sitting on the hot pan, and that was his last words was, Tera kiya meetha lage, means whatever you are doing, Lord, is so sweet to me. So the thing is, when somebody does that, we don't need to accept it, but we try to help them out to do the good, and that's what we believe in, spreading the love, and accepting the will is the answer for this.
Wonderful, thank you. Can I have Deepa?
So from my perspective, how do I love a person if somebody's done really bad to me in this example is, I suddenly thought of the moment where there's a situation where Jesus sees this lady being pelted with stones for something wrong they did, and then he tells, a person who's never did anything wrong would be the first person to be, should throw the stone. And that's what came in my mind, the first thing. I mean, yes, that person has done wrong, but I still have to be nice to the person in whatever ways I can. It's difficult, but I think that's what is a developing thing for a human being.
Thank you, Ali.
Gosh, this is a hard one. So, I'm not Dalai Lama, right? I'm an ordinary human being. I've not practiced, all of the Dalai Lama, people like that, do that, right? I mean, it took them decades to practice peace and love and forgiveness and everything. But let's take this through the first level of screening. I think all three of us say the same thing in different words, maybe similar words, is that first level of screening, I said, remember the first pillar of Islam is faith, love, forgiveness, no hatred, right? If you take it through that level, religion guides you, tells you to forgive and forget. But of course, we are all human beings, and it's just hard to. If this was something like this were to happen to my own family, right? If I was a victim or somebody close to me was a victim, it would be really hard for me to forgive and forget. And I'd say that I would try to forgive and forget, but it's hard. But religion-wise, if you go, everybody is preaching the same thing: forgive and forget.
Thank you. A question from the audience. It's actually something that I've thought of. But should we punish, or can we punish someone who has done bad actions but still love them? Is that possible? So love, punishment, how do we manage that in our day-to-day? Will we start with again, Sharma?
As I told you in this, Bhagavad Gita itself, punishing are, too many ways. Like, it's about how our life full of emotions. Sometimes every person there is boundaries how far they can tolerate the bad which happened to them. It's about that, sometimes we may get irritated by 1 minute, and sometimes we may get 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or sometimes we may get irritated and we punish others, and after that we'll feel, I did something wrong, I should have acted a little bit, more wisely, I should have just wait, It's just like, recently I heard one word that, if one person has a faith and is digging the earth, for a water, for 99 feet, He said, no, it's just like, I'm not able to get the water. If he dig 1 more feet and he might got the water, It's just little bit, little bit patience in that. And that's how you hold that one instead of punishing immediately. Because if the person, it's depend on the other person, if the person is wantedly doing that one, try to avoid that one, or try to explain, or if you have access to explain, try to explain and, or try to change their mind. If you don't have, just, stay away that one, Dharma says that is the only thing,
So Ali, what does Quran talk about punishment and love?
There's a story, I'll tell you summarize it very quickly, and we do this thing, we listen to the story again and again every year in the month of Muharram, which marks the first month of the year. We just started, by the way, last month was Muharram. And the story is that's how Islam was formed. Islam was not formed by force. Actually, it was formed by sacrifice. And the point is that Hussein, who gave up his life in the war, in the fight for the religion, he actually gave up his life. He did not go and win the war. He could have won the war because he was supported by God. God sent the angels down and said, we will send you a mega army and we'll support you. We'll get this 40,000 people out, kill them right away if you want to. And Hussein asked the angel, Gabriel, what does God want? And Gabriel said that God wants you to sacrifice your life. So punishment, I believe in destiny, and I don't think so. We as human beings, God created everyone equal. You and I don't have the right to punish somebody else. If he had done something wrong and that needs to be accounted for, then his destiny will take care of himself. Like the way back then when Hussein was fighting the war, the destiny of Yazid took care of himself. He did not live a happy life. He had a very sad ending. And look, what goes around comes around, right? That's the way I look at it.
That's right.
As we believe in loving and respecting others, and we should have a self-respect also. And if somebody is doing something wrong to you or causing some problems or causing pain or